What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Monday, August 7th, day number 6 inside the Big Brother house. We have a lot to go over. Before we get into what happened on the feeds yesterday, let's talk about last night's episode where we got a little bit of things kind of that were little blind spots for us filled in. The last we had seen on the episodes, we pretty much just had our 4 nominees, Kirsten, Felicia, Jared, and Cory. And then Cory was sent to the Nether. Cirie was waiting inside, and we saw Izzy giving kind of the pinky swear to Jared, and they were kind of, kissing on it and making sure that it was, solid. So it was like, all right, they're making some kind of a deal. We then, on the feeds, obviously found out a lot of different things about her, knowing that Jared and Cirie were mother and son, and it seems like she figured it out immediately, possibly even when she saw him in the backyard. It seems like she really caught on to this very, very quickly, because the moment she saw Cirie, she looked back at Jared and said, "You're Cirie's kid, aren't you?" And they went over the side and made that little deal. So it was within seconds she realized. So it was good to kind of see how that all played out. Other things we saw was, again, Cory being sent to the Nether. We weren't sure exactly what happened with that. Like, what would we see? Where'd he go? Like, what's going to happen? Turns out we didn't see anything. It's not even like an actual like place or anything. He just kind of showed back up. And he was like, "Hey, I'm back, guys. What did I miss?" He read the thing that's saying like, "Oh, you're back for the Nether. The next person who goes might not be as lucky," which to me kind of implies that something's going to happen at this eviction. Maybe if not this eviction, eviction in the future. This is going to come back into play. Exactly how, we'll just have to wait and see. But it was interesting that wasn't even like an actual place he went to, like how sometimes they have that like little side studio they'll use for competitions. They didn't even like set anything up like, "Oh, this is the weird room you go into," which usually they do for this kind of thing. It was just kind of like he went to the diary room and hung out for like a little bit. When Cory did come back in, he recognizes right away that Cirie was Cirie, right? He's like, "Oh, that's Cirie." But there was no indication that he realizes that Jared is her son. So seems like that is not a worry that we have to have. We weren't sure if maybe he had an idea but didn't say anything. But they don't have to worry about that. But he did say like, "Oh, like I know who Cirie is, and you don't take her lightly." So that is for sure something to keep an eye out on. Other than that, we head on into the HOH competition where we did see Reilly ended up winning. It was the balance beam kind of race, right? You have several different beams, one that's like straight to the button you need to get to, but it's very thin, kind of a medium one, and then a long one that's much easier. Reilly actually went the long way, but just kind of booked it, and was able to do it within 15 seconds, 16 seconds, something along those lines. I forget the actual number, but it was very quickly. Hisam, though, not far behind. He's going to be a threat. Later on down in the game, if they don't take care of him, he's going to be a threat. And we'll talk about him on the feeds as well, because he had a big day yesterday, and was very pivotal in all the action that was going on. But he's going to be somebody that they're going to need to worry about before it's too late, because if he gets too far, I just don't know if they're going to be able to beat him in the competitions. He could end up being a very, very strong person that's going to be tough to get out later. We then also see how Kirsten became the house target with the Flaccid 5. Sorry, no, that's not it. The Phallic 5, no. The Phalanx 5, and how terrible that all went with her, Luke, Matt, Jared, who else was there? Reilly, the current HOH was even there, but that alliance fell apart very quickly. But how she formed that one, which Jared was in, and then she was also trying to do the 4-person alliance with Cirie, Felicia, and Mecole, and then just kind of got caught by them sharing notes that, they shouldn't be trusting her. And would she have been caught if Cirie and Jared were not mother and son sharing information like that? Maybe not. Was she playing a little bit too hard and a little bit messy? Yes. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, this twist, I hate it, but it's also so much fun to watch, but it's so overpowered, but I'm very entertained. This all ends up leading to Reilly saving Jared and Cory, with Kirsten being the house target, Felicia as a pawn to kind of make sure that Kirsten goes home. And that pretty much wraps up the episode. We'll see on Wednesday's episode the veto and how who wins that might affect the nominees. And then on Thursday, we'll have the eviction where we'll see someone go home, potentially, unless they head to the Nether. We're still wondering what the Nether actually is. But that pretty much covers it for the episode. Let's jump now into the feed. So if you don't want to have a lot of live feed spoilers, though, I just noticed I was talking about the episode avoiding a lot of spoilers, and there's a giant one on the screen right over there. But hey, that's how it goes sometime. Hisam won the veto. But yes, we knew that from yesterday's feed update, but any of you episode watchers wouldn't have known that. So apologize if I did spoil it there, but let's jump into the feeds. And there's a lot to talk about. Not only do we have a brand new alliance to talk about, but there was a lot of things going on yesterday. So first up, where we left off, we had Reilly as the HOH. She saved Cory and Jared, just like we saw in the episode, leaving Kirsten and Felicia on the block. Hisam won the veto, and it seemed like he wasn't going to use it. It was like, why would I use this thing? Who would they end up backdooring? That would probably go for like someone like Cirie. I don't want that to happen. Boom, it's done. And he and Reilly had a conversation today, and he actually had a lot of conversations today. But this was really his day, and it should be. He has the power of veto. But he was talking to Reilly, and he really put her in this hot seat. He was kind of like, so who you aligned with? What are you doing? Have you been talking game with people? Who are you close with? What's going on? And just trying to get everything out of her that he possibly can. Like, what would you do if I were to use it? Like, hypothetically. And like, she was like, oh, I don't know. He's like, well, if I'm going to use it, I think I'm, rightfully deserving to know about this. So he was very much putting the pressure on her. And really, it's not hard for him to do it where he can kind of be like, yeah, I've noticed you're close with Jag and Blue and Matt and Cameron and Cory. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. They are just so sloppy. The Handful family style alliance, that side of the house is just so sloppy in everything they do. It's very obvious that they're all aligned. And even to the point where they're having conversations, it's almost like they don't lie about it. Like, they won't get to the point where they actually say like, hey, we're all in an alliance, but like, oh, who are you close to? It's like, oh, well, Jag's my buddy and we talk a lot, but it's early. But they're just so sloppy with everything. The BBB, as I've come to been typing them in my notes because it's much easier than typing the bye-bye bitches every single time. They're almost fully aware of everything that's going on with that side, how the family styles there, and then there's also kind of like a little bit of a core, it seems like, with the Handful. So they pretty much have everything all clear, pretty clear about that. But again, is that just because that side being sloppy? Probably. But if they weren't that sloppy, they also would know because Jared is feeding them the info as well. Even though they are super obvious, there was no hiding this. The other side of the house has a much bigger advantage here in this fight. Now, Hisam, by the way, also really doesn't like Cory, and Cory knows it. Cory's pretty much been like, yeah, no, we need a backdoor Hisam. Like next week, Hisam's gotta go. So that's kind of his big focus. But Hisam went around and was having, lots of conversations with everyone. Cory was one of them. He also talked to Matt for a while too, and actually that one was a kind of a nice conversation where they were just kind of talking about hearing loss, and Hisam was actually giving him pointers on how to pronounce people's names, which I really need help with, and I don't have hearing loss, so I could understand the pain with that. But yeah, he was going around having lots of combos. Someone else who's having lots of convos today, all of a sudden was Luke. Luke, who's been kind of invisible, had a lot to say all of a sudden. And it made everybody a little sketchy. Like, wait a minute, what's going on with, why all of a sudden is he worried? Because he's going to Reilly being like, yeah, I guess I should have shown up here. Are you mad at me? Like, is something going on? Like, should I be worried? Like, I feel like I'm out of the loop. And they were basically like, listen, Matt, you need to go talk to him. Like, calm him down. Apparently he did something similar with Blue today, and just like everybody he went to, it was like, what is up with this dude? And there's a lot of people I've seen, like, when I'll post my alliance charts, I might keep falling here. When I post my alliance charts, people will be like, oh, Luke's on his own, Matt dumped him. It's like, well, yeah, game-wise, sure, but Matt is still his friend in the house. Like, if he's going to have someone that's going to talk to him, it's going to be Matt. Like, Matt and him got very close in the beginning of the game. Does he want to work with him on a game level? No, because he doesn't think it's good for his game, but that doesn't mean he's not friends with him. So yeah, it's something that still needs to be put on the alliance chart, because hey, if it came down to it and Luke and Matt are voting for someone who isn't in either of their alliances or anything like that, Luke's not in any alliance, but you get my point, right? If Matt's picking between Luke and Red, he's always going to choose Luke. Right? If Luke is choosing between Matt and Red, who's Luke gonna choose? Matt. How about Luke choosing between Matt and anyone in his alliance? So it's very important to kind of, keep those friendships in there too, even though people were like, oh, he dumped him. That's not right. Yeah, they have a friendship. It needs to be on there. But yeah, that was kind of weirding people out. Luke also chatted with Izzy, who also has her own kind of daily spirals where she goes from thinking she's like the best player in the world to these bouts of tears where she feels like she's lost in the game and she needs all this reassurances from Cirie and Jared, who constantly give it to her when she has these little bouts. But Izzy's kind of fun to watch with how messy she is on a day-to-day basis and gets very passionate about things as well. And then some of the other things that were kind of interesting, there was an interesting little convo that happened in the backyard where they were talking about, oh, yeah, it was Luke kind of saying, people, they end up looking like the parents. Like, I look exactly like my dad. And Cirie was there and she was just like, oh, yeah, maybe I should just keep quiet about this. And then later on, there was something else that was kind of funny too, where Felicia actually asked Jared, like, oh, when's your birthday? And he's like, oh, March 5th. He's like, oh, my boys are in March too, like March whatever and whatever. I'll remember that. So it'll be interesting to see if Felicia ever hears about Cirie asking about her kids' birthdays, because that could come back and maybe she could pick up on, like, wait a minute, his birthday's the 5th, and wait a minute, they do kind of look like each other. Wait a minute. So maybe that's something that could come back later, but still just something interesting to note. The one side of the house, at least, the Bye Bye Bitches, they're doing lots of counting and trying to learn the house, remember the dates, comp names. They're checking out everything that's in the house. Like, oh, there's so many of these. There's 4 X's and 5 O's in this game set. Maybe it's just a game, but maybe it's something else. They're looking through that little periscope that's in the living room to see where that was pointing. So they're doing everything they can to try and make sure they have all this information possible. A lot of that stuff hasn't really come into play in competitions in recent seasons. Dates, obviously, of course, comp names do come up as well, but Hisam is definitely making a big push to make sure the Triple B all are doing that and make sure they kind of remember all that stuff as well. And then other than that, we kind of get to the main events, right? The main courses of the evening for the feeds, because things started to kind of break down a little bit here towards the end, and we ended up getting a brand new alliance formed. So, like I said, Hisam was going around having all of these convos around the house. He was having the one with Reilly, which she ended up having a convo with Jag and Matt, and just kind of talking about how like she doesn't trust Izzy with all of her spiraling, worrying about the alliances being blown up because of the conversations she had with not only Hisam but Red, who had literally just listed off. That was a great convo. Red's having a convo with Reilly where he just lists off. He's like, "Oh yeah, I just from my perspective, I'm seeing it's like you, Jag, Matt, Blue, Cory," and he's just listed off the whole alliance. And Reilly's sitting there like, "Oh yeah, I'm friends with them. They're cool, funny dudes." But she's definitely like, she had a little breakdown with Jag and Matt where some tears started to fill her eyes, where she's just like, I'm getting just swamped, right? Like everybody's coming at me all the time, just hitting me with all these things, grilling me. It's just so much pressure. And yeah, she's really having an issue with that. But while that was all happening, Hisam was in there filling in the triple B on all of his convos for the day about how Reilly, felt good with the certain individuals and basically was listing her alliance and all the different talks that he had. And this leads to locking in of the 7, the professors. Let's pull up our brand new alliance chart here. Bam, there it is. You know what? That's a little small because there's a lot going on right now. So why don't we pull up more simplified here? A little bit more easy to understand. We've got the professors on one side and we've got family style on the other. So the professors, who are they? They are the triple B, which I still was never 100% sure. Is Hisam in the triple B? Personally, I have not been able to lock down that 100%. He was a soldier for them. He was definitely aligned on their side, but I wasn't able to nail down, is he or is he not fully a member of the alliance? Well, now he's fully a member of the 7, which they've locked in with Red. So it's Cirie, Mecole, Izzy, Red, Hisam, Bowie, and Felicia. Those are the professors. They said they are all of the older people in the house. They're the ones who have, relationships outside of this house. They want to kind of come together and be like, look, this is BB25. We're going to play with integrity. We're going to stick together. We're going to show them that someone over 30 can win this game. And then on the other side, you have family style, Reilly, Jag, Blue, Matt, Cory, America, Cameron, and Jared. He's not really on their side, though. He is actually on the side of Cirie. That's why always and forever you will have Jared and Cirie on top of all of the alliances. Kirsten ends up in the middle, and then all the way up there, you can see Luke. He's kind of out in space up there. He's doing his thing. But this is kind of the house dynamics right now, where things are at the moment. And it's really a split house. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Kirsten looks like she's going to be evicted on Thursday without any other fanfare. We may get some stuff going on, but there's no way that Hisam is going to use the veto tomorrow. There could be some weird stuff that maybe happens with the vote if Luke ends up going with family style and they all decide that they're going to vote out Felicia. Felicia's gone, right? They just wouldn't have the numbers at the moment. They're going to need Luke, but it does seem like Kirsten is the one that everybody's going to vote out. But if somebody is able to flip this thing, it could end up being a real battle where it's like, oh yeah, no, family style has the numbers. Even if they don't have Jared and Luke goes over there, things could get tough. But it's going to be interesting how this all plays out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about everything going on inside the house at the moment. We'll have an update, obviously, tomorrow to see everything going on. They're still up as I'm recording this as well, kind of talking about different scenarios, but this seems to be where we're locked in at the moment. We got the professors on one side, family style on the other. Kirsten kind of in the middle, going to get evicted on Thursday. And this has been such a good season so far. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Who you're rooting for. Are you on Team Professors or are you on team family style? I want to see. Put it in the comments. Team professors, team family style. Who you got? If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Check out the links to all of my socials in the description. Pin comment down below, the Twitch, Twitter, Discord. We have a great Discord where there's a lot of really fun stuff going on over there where we're chatting about the live feeds. We've got all the different stuff. Also, oh, by the way, I almost forgot. Big old happy birthday to Matt. It is your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Let's give Matt a little bit of a birthday song. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Happy birthday, Matt. If you have a birthday, you can put it in the Discord. You will get a shout out on your day. Maybe put it in the comments down below. If you got a birthday coming up, let me know. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.